Okay, so a lot of people have been asking me what my opinions on the DC relaunch are, and now that enough of the issues have come out, I feel like I can give my best impression of the universe as a whole without just ranting about how things are different, how it's a spit in the face of readers who have been reading for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. Everyone complains about that. There's no reason to go into it. But to start off, I think we should go back to the ending of Flashpoint, because that's where the relaunch basically started. As you recall, I was less than pleased with the first 2 issues of Flashpoint.
This is shit!
And the ending of Flashpoint is no better. The twist at the end of Flashpoint is basically that the Flash finds out that he is actually the one that caused the timeline to get messed up, not Reverse Flash. By him going back in time and saving his mother from dying at an early age, he somehow caused this new timeline to come into existence. And that is a really cool plot twist if you don't think about it, because it doesn't make any sense. But, so Flash realizes this, remedies the situation by going back in time and stopping himself from going back in time, which is basically what Deadpool said to Flash in my episode, which... oh, God. Anyway. And he stops himself from saving his mother, which you'd think would revert things back to normal, but instead it makes this entirely new universe where the only thing that really seems to be different is that people's character models are subtly different. And other things. But moving on to the New 52, starting off with Action Comics #1. I really think Action Comics #1 is one of my least favorite books of the New 52. I don't like what they've done with Superman, but I also understand that it takes place in the past. It's 5 years ago. There's going to be some character development, things like that. And I also understand that DC has recently gotten into some legal issues with Superman's creators. They've won certain aspects of Superman that will go into effect in 2013. So they're trying to transition him so that he will be more... Honestly, I think that's what the whole point of Flashpoint was because they're losing the Superman that they have, and so they have to make a new one. Honestly, if I were the president of DC, I would have just killed Superman and had Superboy become the new Superman. Because, honestly, can we say that Superman's not dead? The one that we know? Detective Comics #1. Basically, all of Batman's continuity is the same, it just happened differently, which is retarded. I mean, you'd never see anything like that in Marvel, right? Oh God! Get it away! Get it away! No! 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 But, yeah, so Detective Comics, Batman is basically the same, except he doesn't really know any other superheroes yet, other than the Flash, which we revealed at Flashpoint #5. Then Batman #1, I feel, was a lot better. It's not as in-your-face, dark, and gritty. I think they really went overboard with Detective Comics in that degree. But of course, Scott Snyder is writing Batman, and he was also writing Batman before the relaunch, and so it basically feels almost exactly like the same book, which I'm not complaining about because Scott Snyder writes a great book. But it makes it also feel like, it's relaunched. And then, speaking of Scott Snyder, he also writes the new Swamp Thing book, which now takes place in DC. It's a very well written book, but the only problem is anyone really asking for Swamp Thing to be canon with DC? I know I wasn't. Batgirl. I think Batgirl really is the most offensive book of the New 52. Having Barbara Gordon taken out of the position of Oracle and make her Batgirl again, it just seems like it's a step back for the character. You lose some character growth, but it also means that handicapped readers have lost someone that they can look up to. Like I said, she was more useful as Oracle than she'll ever be as Batgirl. And that's very empowering to people who have a disability. I mean, you never see that in Marvel, right? So really, there are no handicapped superheroes that people can look up to anymore. It's offensive, and it's like, oh yeah, we can't possibly let the Killing Joke not be canon, but somehow Barbara Gordon got better. But moving on to team books, Justice League #1, it's kind of boring. It really just sets up a lot of the universe which needed to be done. Superman is really the only like super known superhero. Batman is sort of an urban legend, which that was always the way I felt about Batman and the DC universe. Is why would there still be crime in Gotham if Batman was, you know, a fact and people actually were very much aware of Batman? He likes to, you know, remove any documentation of himself. Why would he go through all that trouble to make sure that people didn't know about him? We know that Batman knows Flash. We know that Batman does not know basically any other superheroes because him and Green Lantern are basically introducing themselves. He doesn't know Superman. And Cyborg is not Cyborg yet. I don't know why they decided to put Cyborg on the Justice League, but whatever. Then we move on to Justice League International. And Justice League International just mocks you for reading it. There's the scene where Booster Gold, which, if you ask me, Booster Gold is one of the characters who should not be affected by the relaunch. Because Booster Gold exists outside of time. He travels through this time vortex in order to get to our time, but his actual home is outside of the vortex. And the end of Booster Gold's book before the relaunch is him going back to that thing that exists outside of time. So when this new universe starts, shouldn't it be the same Booster Gold as the other one? But whatever. Okay, Booster Gold goes to the Hall of Justice. He thinks he's been invited to be a part of the Justice League, but no, it's this new team called the Justice League International, which basically this black bald guy gathers a team from all over the world to, you know, help the UN peacekeep. But so yeah, it's basically Booster Gold and a bunch of other B-listers at best, and they are gathering at the Hall of Justice, and there are a lot of protesters outside, people protesting the Hall of Justice being used this way because it used to be a public building in this universe. Basically, not Nick Fury says, oh, these are a bunch of people who like to complain on the internet about stuff and just get angry over nothing, you know, and it's to say, oh yes, this is clearly them taking a stab at people who are not comfortable with the relaunch, and people who have been complaining about it on the internet. Myself, several of you, I'm sure. And then there's also there's a part where someone says the word relaunch, and then like I'm like, really? But yeah, so my major opinions of the New 52 as a whole, those are really the books that I've read. I think it's incredibly unnecessary. Any of the books that are still good feel like the books before the relaunch happened. It either goes from offensive to it feels the same. So, but I'd be more than happy to hear any of your opinions on the matter. You might think I'm an idiot, might completely agree, but be sure to put the comment in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it too.